All right. The game is called Star Vortex. We're gonna have the devs on in about an hour. It's a shooter's game, dude. Oh, I get a name. And I can change my look. Wait, I can import one? Wait a moment. Wait, I gotta hide this for a moment. Okay, just directly open up my documents folder. One sec. All right, I got it. There it is. Beautiful. All right, Vector, Striker, Gunner, Interceptor, and Carrier. Oh, I like the idea of a carrier. Designed for automated mining operations. Deflector Shield, Azure Ion Thruster, a Railgun, and a Hornet Drone Bay. I love drones. You can actually set custom difficulty, too. That's really interesting. You just... I think we'll set it as a challenging to start. So it fully generates out a different seed for the whole sector. That's really interesting, actually. So it'll be different every single time you play. And the seed can be changed as well. Can I change this? Potato. Goblin. We're gonna play the Goblin seed. This is the one. Oh! Somewhere on the edge of Sector 4. Jesus Christ. Hold the line. Keep those things off the mothership. More hostiles approaching. They currently outnumber us 5-1. This isn't looking good. Set course immediately. We'll follow your lead. Admiral Gideon. Wait, where am I? Dude, there's so many lasers happening. Is that me? Off I go. Life support systems failing. Immediate action required. Why would someone leave a ship out here? This doesn't make any sense. Unknown. Priority is survival. We must transfer immediately. System transfer complete. System storage limit exceeded. This ship has even less memory than the last one. Who builds these things? I'm really glad that my AI is mad that he doesn't have enough memory in the new ship. I can transfer you back if you want. Yeah, the old one's blowing up. Well, or not. I had to delete some of my emotional units, compassion, patience, you know, the trivial stuff. Thankfully, I still far exceed your intellect. Oh, lucky me. Pick your control scheme. Try not to break anything. Interesting, so we can do acceleration or direction. I'd rather do it as a twin stick, personally. I'm more of a twin stick shooter player, more than anything else. Oh, it feels really good. This thing also has dodge thrusters. You deleted compassion but kept metaphors? And 7 audiobooks, a few TV series, and a recipe for fajitas. You'll thank me if this doesn't work. We got a booster, so move fast. That should come in handy, though I hear the locals here are quite friendly. Speaking of which, I'll enable the heads-up display so you can see what's coming. It'll take some time for the fleet to triangulate this position. While we wait, let's see if you can figure out the weapon systems. Try not to shoot yourself. Okay, there's our primary weapon. You can also aim the turrets to shoot behind you, perfect when you're making a tactical retreat. Like a coward. Now equip the weapon we ejected earlier. We? Of course! We're a team! The brains and the brawn. Oh god. Oh yeah, okay. I'm gonna like playing this. Excellent, good thing we held on to that. Yeah, we. What is this one? Shield batteries, hull nanobots? So we can repair? Oh my god, this feels good. Shoot some of the nearby attrites. Let's face it, you need the practice. That'll do. I suppose try not to get us killed. Oh. What the hell is that? You have more fight in you than I expected. Who or what are you? A guide, perhaps. You may call me Echo. What is this? Why help me? The ship I placed for you is only the first step. Your path is set in motion. You placed it? Why? What path? The one that lies ahead. The invaders you face are called Species XI, so Species 11. They will return, and you must be ready. How do you know that? Your companions approach. Fight and find your way back home. Hello, friends. Periculum. How does this work? Neat. I like that. Oh, look at that. Some friendly locals. Surrender your ship or die. Correction. Not friendly. Definitely not friendly. All right, I've got drones. I got drones and dudes. My bullets. Okay. Yes. Beautiful drones. Yoink. Where'd it go? Was there no other dude? My drones murdered that man. Angular velocity, my beloved. Okay, so what I've learned is being Galente in this game also works, which is move fast. Too fast for them to hit you, because their angular velocity is bad. And use drones, because drones chew through their ship like a hot knife through butter. Galente superiority? Yeah, up until I became a Triglavian. The Empire lies to you. Join the triangles. Alright, let's see. Great work leading us here. This is the sector gateway. We'll establish camp and hold the position. Do we get bases? Dock with the mothership, we've got more to discuss. Oh? Yo. You can buy and sell items here as well as repair, upgrade, and redesign your ship. Can I have more drones? A heat ray? A machine gun? Oh, this is gonna be sick, dude. Should have the ship's design before undocking. Wouldn't want someone to mistake it for space junk. Rude. Interesting. You might want to redesign? Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try different stuff out. Fuel injector increases max speed, but we could also get armor plating. Max speed seems pretty legit. If we could just make ourselves really quick, we can't really get hit by enemies. Oh, but unless they have lasers. I like fast better than tank. Yeah, more fast. There we go. Kinetic impact of the photons? Maybe. Let's go to edit ship. Yeah, I want to see the tutorial. You design your ship by selecting parts and moving them around. No way, dude. Holy crap. It's like a gummy ship, dude. Oh, I'm so down. No, this is sick, actually. I'm gonna make a big bug. Okay, so we have to fit within this bubble because this is frigate size, then destroyer, then cruiser, battleship, and dreadnought. Alright. So the size changes stuff. This is really neat, dude. No, this, yeah, instantly bought it and downloading it now. The idea of doing this, I didn't realize that there was so much customization. This is freaking rad. Like, that's so interesting. Okay, so the farther that I put these wings out, the more that those guns are going to be like that. So we have to put them kind of close in. Can I rotate these? Doesn't look like I can rotate. Maybe I can rotate. We can mirror and snap them. Don't mirror it. Okay, so we can have one on one side. We can make a, like a non-conforming build. We could flip it. We don't have to snap it either. This is sick, dude. And I can change the layering, too. Can we change the coloring? The brightness can change? Oh my god, dude. Look at that. What an insane thing. So now it looks like it layers down underneath. Because I've changed the layering color, it looks like it goes farther and deeper down underneath the ship, and I can change the formatting for all of this. This is sick. Alright. I've made it bug-like. What a sick system, dude. Try load designs. Where? Yo! Holy shit, dude. There is some insane stuff that people have built in this. This game is cool, man. This is way, way more in-depth than I anticipated. I'm very excited for this, dude. Yeah, no, let's go fight some shit. My ship is so tiny. Biblically accurate ship's time. The drone is counted as an auto special? Okay, that makes more sense. And it looks like my two guns are right there on the ship now. And it's shooting two of them. Because that's my primary weapon. And then we've got the PDL on the front of the ship. Red. Super red. Let's go to F3. Collect our reward there, and we're gonna go to complete encounter at Astralis. You need a sector keystone. Ow, my bones. Oh, that's the PDL, look at this. So the PDL will just automatically shoot nearby stuff for me. I want to try a skirmish. Yeah, the auto firing is really nice. Personal defense laser, yeah. Level 3, 18 enemies, got it. Oh, they have shields. Oh my god. Alright. Get owned. That's a landmine. I don't like those. As long as we keep our shields up, it should be okay. The angular velocity is working, Chet. Got him. Oh, those are scary. Another one down. What are those? Oh, it's like a worm. It's a worm ship. Look at it. Holy shit, it's a worm ship with lasers. I hate it. I hate the worm ship. Alright, I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to keep playing this game. It feels like Homeworld, but I don't even know, dude. Like, I have wanted like a space game RPG for ages. And this feels exactly what I envisioned in my brain. You have 2 unspent upgrade points in your portrait. Let me see. Level up to earn upgrade points. Every 10 levels, you get a shiny new weapon slot. Bigger ships start to unlock at 15, assuming you survive that long. And yes, no choices are permanent. You can reset it all for a price. Increase the damage of your constructs. Drones. Increase the range of your constructs. Debuff chance of your constructs. Yes, this is all I want. I don't care about anything else. I just want... Yes. Yes. More. More! Explosive egg launcher. Projectile mines. Thermal capsule. Removes the burning debuff and increases resistance to thermal damage. That's kind of sick. Scattergun level 2. That will be better than our railgun level 1. Damage is dramatically higher. Short range PDL level 2. It looks like we could just keep leveling up. The crit chance goes up. The egg launcher seems insane, by the way. That is a type of weapon slot that we don't have. It's a purple. Yeah, we can't wear it yet. I'm gonna hold on to it. Complete encounter at Astrolon. We do not have a sector keystone yet. Let's try this down here. That's a level 4. I don't know if I want to do level 4 yet. You're trespassing in Scarin space. Leave now or be destroyed. Straight to threats. Charming. They're not bluffing. They're not. Get ready. So we're out here right now. Okay, so it's like wormhole space. I dig that. Scattergun is a shotgun. Love that. Ho ho ho! You fools! Running out. Blap 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 blap. The scattergun is cool. I dig it. My auto laser is destroying those landmines. Shotgun is ripping the worm. Ow. I ran into it. That's not good. What is that? Alright, so there's hidden loot boxes. I dig that. Yeah, the drones are ripping, dude. The thing is I always love drones. I love the idea of carrier ships. They're fun, man. Is there another one? No. I love, if you look behind the ship, there's like a trail for it. Do you find the planet and moon in the background to be distracting in combat? I don't find it to be super distracting. I do find it so that it's hard for me to see bullets when I'm shooting past a planet sometimes, if that makes sense. Oh, that's level 5. I don't want to do that yet. Replace guns with more drones? I think I'm gonna try to, yeah. The guns are cool. But it's the drones count as an auto special slot. Oh, wait, what? That was a mistake for you, bud. I don't know what that guy was thinking. He's dead now, though. Okay, so I got a Razor Mine Launcher. That's another special slot. Hornet Drove Bay level 1. Yeah, see, this is an auto special, but it's a purple one. And this one's a green one. What's the difference between these two? What the hell's a Spore Drone? What are those? Deploys drones that will prioritize attacking your locked target. They're weaker, though, but they're thermal. Conclave Beacon. Calls in friendly Conclave ships to assist you. Okay. We can sell this. I can sell this one off. I kind of want to try the Spore Drones, man. If those don't work, I'm going to switch back to the Hornets. The Hornets seem to do more damage. Oh, wait. You only get 2 of these Spore Drones, but you get 4 of these, and their DPS is dramatically higher. But these debuff. Ugh. I think I'm going to use the Spore Drones for right now. Spore Drones don't have lasers. They don't miss. Really? I want to play with them. I'm going to play with the Spore Drones. I wish you could just talk him through the mechanics. I don't want to. And the reason why is because I'm a new player to this. Games that are very deep and have had a lot of development on them, you need to make sure that it's still accessible to a new player, right? And as a new player, I'm playing through this and looking at stuff and finding out what I can figure out without anyone telling me the answer, right? And that's important. That's really important information. All right. Let's go back to F4 and see what we can do here. I think we could just go to here. It's all level 4s. Yeah, we can do that. All right, let's see. We got one enemy that's out of position down here. Oh God, the spores. Oh God. Oh, they just stay with me and they're like laser turrets, man. Oh, it's monstrous. Oh, it's monstrous. Look at it. Look at it go. You know? I'm glad I took these. I'm really glad I took these. This is horrible. I feel like this is a war crime right now. And I'm just slightly fast enough that this guy can't hit me with his lasers. Alright, now we can head back to town. Okay, what is this? There's no equipment slot for that. Caustic laser. I like that. Alright, level 4 caustic laser. Watcher turret bay. Watcher turrets. Oh no, this is a special. Whole regen. Bio network. That's crazy. The idea of regenerating hull over time seems really cool. Roach drone bay. Item has to be scanned. They have randomized gear? They have randomized gear! Plus 20% critical damage, 10% range, 25% construct hull. 505 DPS. How many of these does it get? 6 of those drones? And that's the same as... We've got our spore drones as well. The scattergun was cool. Caustic laser is less damage, but more interesting. Okay, so a caustic laser doesn't seem to exist in here. The range on it is 200. The range on my scattergun was 165, which is not very much. I'm going to sell the scattergun. Radioactive pulse. A burst of radioactive energy that hits nearby enemies. At a range of 240 meters? So we can make an AoE that pops out of the character every once in a while. That's crazy. And it's every 5 seconds on that. This game is sick, dude. You guys have done an amazing job with this. Oh my god, look at it. It's these ones. So that one was using the thermal lasers. Beam death laser. What do you mean? Oh, that's bones. Wait, what? It's a giant space worm. The horror. Okay, there's my little hornets. They can definitely miss. But now I have a laser, so it's fine. Whole nanobots, got it. These are using quite a bit of heat, but I think they're much better in terms of weaponry. And my little guys are very strong. Got it? Alright. Alright, I'm gonna call you up. Dude, your game is freaking rad. Like, I'm super into this. So,
excellent.
As we get started on this, tell me all about yourself and about the game that you're working on.
Yeah, so I'm a solo developer. I live in the north of Scotland. Full-time, I work on server backends for mobile MMOs at a game studio. And this is like my hobby project that I work on in the evenings.
Really?
And I've been working on it for about 5 years, so yeah. 5 years pretty much overall. I think I started about 2017, but it was on and off, and I lost a year to like World of Warcraft Classic and things like that. But
fair, yeah.
but yeah, 5 years about total, I think, just in the evenings after my day job and between my other hobbies and things. So.
No, that's awesome though. So is it just you working on this?
Yeah, it's just myself. The character avatars were outsourced to an artist, and the music's made by a local musician for like the menu music and that. But apart from that, it's all just me.
That's fantastic. Honestly, I'm kind of blown away by this. The amount of depth that there is so far to like character creation and like building things and like even just like, yeah, the ability to just like modify the ship like this is crazy. Like that's already fantastic and really, really fun and very interesting. And I can't wait to like, I love the idea of going through and like seeing these community builds like this too. and seeing what other people have done. Like this one's called Gold Blade, and it's a frigate class. Like I love this, you know.
Yeah, it was so random when I first launched a trailer. People were asking if the ships could be modified in game because they look kind of modular in how I built them, and I was like, no. I guess I better make a ship designer, so I did, and we ended up with this. It wasn't in like the initial design plan or anything. I was building these ships in Photoshop to begin with.
So that was completely driven by player feedback. That's fantastic, dude. Like,
I think a lot of players looking at the trailer assumed that you could build them because of how they looked, and I was just like, that's going to be really disappointing if I don't put it in. So I made a ship designer.
Honestly, fair, man. Like 100%. I think that this is a really cool way to do this. I love the fact that not only did you do a ship designer where you can actually place things, because I used a lot of this kind of stuff before. I love gummy ships, right? From Kingdom Hearts, being able to do like modification of ships and like add stuff to your ship is always cool. But a lot of times you can't do things like this, like changing the brightness. Like you have a full control of not only where these things are placed, but also what they look like visually on top of that. Changing the saturation for everything, being able to change out the color for all of it. Like, that's rad. Like, like it's really, really cool, man.
Yeah, the brightness slider wasn't there about 6 months ago either. That was another request. Because people wanted to simulate depth by making it darker. And so I added that in as well.
It's exactly what I did on this too, is make that darker so I could simulate depth. No, that's really cool. I think this is fantastic.
I basically got bullied into adding the brightness slider by one of my Discord mods, so blame him.
Good job, mod. Always bully them. Always. My mods bully me too, so I understand. Yeah. I feel it, you know. So I'm interested in what got you started on this? What were your inspirations for building this game?
I guess like probably 20 years ago, I started making games and had fun making games. Then it became my full-time job, and I got moved more into like server side and back end and live ops, and it wasn't really fulfilling or scratching that itch of actually designing a game. Mm-hmm. So our studio moved to making games in Unity, and I learned a bit of Unity on the side there, and then it's just like, well, I can actually make a game here. So it's not multiplayer now. I plan to add some sort of multiplayer co-op in the future, but it's not going to become a full MMO because that's way too much like my day job.
That's a massive amount, yeah.
Yeah, the kind of point was to make a single-player game so it's more entertaining than my day job, not just like making up a multiplayer MMO. Because
totally fair. Yeah, no, that totally is fair. You know, like I understand that completely, and it's cool that you have that sort of direction for it. Because the moment I started playing this, I was like, what? Like, it was not what I expected it was going to be. You know, I didn't expect the level of depth that this has, and the idea of doing that on an MMO basis would be... That's all kinds of can of worms being opened, you know?
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about spoilers, but you haven't actually rescued the assembler yet, which is the crafting system. So you haven't even seen
so there's even more!
The depth yet. Yeah, you can destroy items to move the modifiers onto other items, so you can like custom design the items that you're using and things like that. And you can level up the items, and you can increase their rarity and stuff, and so there's a whole other system there as well.
I did find a schematic that I think hinted at that, but I didn't know anything about it yet.
Yeah, you can move the modifiers onto the schematics to store them for later and then put them on other items and stuff, but that's where a lot of the depth in the item system comes, is from that assembler.
Phenomenal. Yeah, no, really, really cool. What games have you played that you would say are inspirations for this? Like, what has drawn you to building this game, and with the depth that it has?
Yeah, that was a weird journey as well. Like, I played, Space Pirates and Zombies when that came out, the 2D version, not the sequel that we don't speak about.
Fair.
But yeah, the 2D Space Pirates and Zombies game, that was fantastic. I played that, and I love space shooter games. I obviously love Diablo 2 and like action RPGs. So I wanted to make an action RPG. Originally, I was going to make like a space exploration kind of game, like Star Valor, more like open world trading, mining, and it was going to be that to begin with. But I found the combat to be more fun and engaging than the exploration really, and the type of game I was making. So it moved more into this like action RPG genre as it went along. There was a time where I was going to make it like a roguelike, but I think roguelikes require a lot of content to be entertaining for long periods of time, so I ditched that idea. And it just became this like classic action RPG. But
Is there
a combination of two games that I really like? So.
A lot of the times, like roguelikes, the reason why they're so loved and so made is because there's just infinite content at the end game. You could just go, right? Is there like an end game to this where it's repeatable, or is there a story where it effectively ends at a certain point?
Yeah, so currently the map you see when you press F4 is Sector 1. Sector 2's got different enemies and continues a storyline. Sector 3's got different enemies and continues a storyline. Sector 4 isn't in yet because we're still in early access. That's going to be when you arrive back at Earth and you're like bustering the defense of Earth against these invaders. So that's where you power up the super weapon to fight them and things. That's all going to be in Sector 4, and that will conclude the storyline. And then after that, there's hopefully going to be jumping into these enemies that are jumping in to attack you. The Species 11 are coming from the Void, so the end game will be kind of like Rifting and Path of Exiles, where you'll generate sectors in the Void and you'll go into them, and that'll be the end game. You can do that infinitely and go and find and make your perfect weapons and build and stuff. And that's I think that's mostly my end game idea.
So the end game is that repeatable, as
Yeah.
difficult as it can go. That's fantastic.
That's the plan. I say that's not in yet. It kind of stops at the end of Sector 3 now because it's early access, and I'm still working through the content. I got so much feedback when I launched that I had to go back and like remake the upgrade tree and unlock the weapons and things. So there's been a lot of like changes based on feedback. But hopefully I'll get Sector 4 done over Christmas. That's the plan. So.
Yeah. So this map is just Sector 1, guys. Like there's 3 more of these basically. Well, there will be. There's 2 more of these and then 3 eventually. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, there's like 3 factions in there. There's 3 Scarab bosses in Sector 1. And when you beat those 3 Scarab bosses, you unlock Sector 2 and then onwards. And it carries on in that kind of formula.
That's fantastic. So originally you said you wanted to have like mining and stuff like that in the game. Is the PDL kind of a carryover from that? Or is that did you just scrap all of that idea before you started building anything?
Yeah, no, I scrapped that. I had originally had some asteroids that drop crystals that you could collect, but it wasn't that entertaining to do, so I kind of dropped that as an idea. It didn't really fit within the action RPG style of game, so...
Oh, I thought they were shooting me. They're healing me. It's like, what is going on? There's so many.
So the assembler comes with your little heal bots there. They'll heal you up every time you go back.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, so if you dock with the assembler, you'll see the crafting system as it stands.
Let's try
so
that.
it's a big part of like trying to build your perfect ship.
Oh, so we can actually free up space now, too. Now we have storage. That was one of the things I was starting to get worried. I was like, I have so many items. I don't know what to do with any of these, Yeah,
I'm vastly underestimated how much storage players need. So a few updates ago, this got pagination, and it's now got a few pages worth of slots. Because there's also a shared vault in case you want to move items between your saves and stuff.
Oh, that's really cool.
Just the same amount of storage again.
I love that, though. Like, to be honest with you, this is the kind of game where I'm going to become a hoarder pretty rapidly, I think.
Yeah, I think most of the players are hoarders. I've seen some inventories and screenshots and stuff. It's like, my God.
That is generally how that goes, yeah. Start storing everything you possibly can. Because to be honest with you, like, with all the randomization on the gear, it just makes sense to store everything. Like, I'm down with that, for sure. What would you say is the most difficult thing you've had to implement for this game so far? Like, the thing that has caused you the most stress or maybe didn't work out the right way? What is the thing that has sucked to build?
The controller support. It has full controller support for the Steam Deck and for like a 360 controller. And both getting that to work consistently, getting the key bindings to work, and like I guess balancing it between like it's much harder to aim with a controller and that kind of thing that was a nightmare. I use Rewired in the end, which is an asset pack for Unity. It helps map all the different controllers to like the settings, so you can play with a Guitar Hero controller or anything, and any madness like that.
That's cool. No, that makes sense. It's interesting too, because for every single game, like any dev that you ever talk to, that answer is going to be different every time. Yeah,
I think the main thing is the controller navigation as well. So like all the buttons that link to each other when you press left on the controller, you're expected to go to a certain button. A lot of that is like manually linked. And if you change the UI, you obviously have to relink things and stuff. So it's a lot of work especially when you've got quite a bit of UI.
No, that does make sense. Building out anything, controller support for UI is a mess. Like that's always very difficult to do. So I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, so here in the assembler, the equipment, you can increase its level by paying credits. You can increase the rarity of items so you can get them up to legendary, and you can replace modifiers on them. Once they're different or rare, you can move the modifiers about.
Interesting. And because I don't have the ability to unlimited farm at this stage of the game, like I have to be sparing about how I do this stuff right now.
Yeah, I think most players manage to level up their equipment or keep it at level for the most part. Depends how wild they go with the black market. There's also like a black market ship in the fleet which sells you random purple or blue items. You can pull modifiers off.
There's an identification web too. Oh, I guess that just IDs everything that's on you.
Yeah, sometimes there's a lot of stuff to scan, so that was just a quality of life thing. So you'd have to manually scan everything.
So this is red quality. What is what are the tiers of quality actually?
So the colors are the slot type. They will be different, but there's a 25% chance that they'll be rare when you get them. It's kind of like was it Geed in Diablo 2? Little merchant in the corner who sold you gambling stuff.
Yeah, he mostly just ripped you off. So
yeah, pretty much. A lot of this will be you'll lose money playing in the system, but you might get some nice modifiers. So.
Oh, that makes sense. That's cool. It's actually got. Oh, it's got hotkeys. I love the hotkeys for that. Yeah, no, this is actually fantastic, man. Like, I'm actually, I want to play this quite a lot because I didn't realize how deep this is. But there's the schematics for this. Stores modifiers and remains intact when transferring the other items. So that, you said, was a thing with the assembler up here.
Yeah, so that unlocks at a slightly higher level because I didn't want to overwhelm players. So at the moment, I think you just increase level of items.
Okay.
But there's a replace modifier option there that unlocks later, and increase rarity and stuff unlocks later.
So one of the things I'm really interested in this is a lot of the times I find that space games are heavily reliant on world building for, like, you know, factions or for dealing with, you know, maybe like the Emperor of Mankind, right? You get like 40K, those big factions between the different groups or political intrigue in some way. How did you approach that for this game?
When it released, it was when the demo released and stuff, it didn't really have much of a storyline, and that got kind of added in later, again, on feedback and things. So now it kind of hints at the storyline. It doesn't massively explain things. The little echo creature that approached you at the start, that follows you throughout, and that's going to be a big part of the storyline to pull you through. There's obviously Admiral Gideon and the Assembler and stuff, but I think the Admiral of the Fleet later, he comes in Sector 3, you get like a hologram of the Admiral of the Fleet who will be in Sector 4. And beyond that, it's like, I've written a storyline. I know the storyline's going to end, but it's not massively. I don't take time to explain everything. I just kind of hint at the faction politics and the history of the factions and things like that, and let people kind of imagine in their own heads. It's obviously like supposed to be an ancient universe, hence the giant skeleton of a snake and stuff. And it's hinted at that there were old races and things, and the gateways were created by them. But yeah, I don't take a lot of time to explain it all. If that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. Yeah, that's fair. I think that's really interesting though, because a lot of the times it'll be like everything has to be based on this. We got to pay attention to it. Like, you know, that's the core of the video game. You know, for a space game.
Yeah,
so
I've always liked more. I've always liked looser storylines in my games. I like to characters that like Dishonored and the Outsider in Dishonored and things like that. The mysterious characters are never really explained, and we're not going to explain them. They're just there, and that kind of approach it kind of draws me in more than those ones that just extrapolate on everything and tell you everything.
Yeah. Could be like needlessly deep, I guess, is basically how it'd go.
Yeah, I was happy to see you playing a drone carrier as well, because when I play action RPGs, I always play a summoner. So I'm hoping that the drones play pretty well.
The drones do play really well, actually. I used to play EVE Online a lot. I played for about 15 years, and I was a Galente pilot going into eventually playing Triglavian once they came out, and that's a drone pilot to start with.
Yeah.
Very drone and speed-based. So I'm immediately making this as fast as possible with drones. I've just learned that I can remove my guns and replace that with another drone base. I've done it.
Yeah, there was already been a mention in my Discord that I should include that somehow in the tutorial, because a lot of people miss that you can take the primary weapon off and just give yourself 2 of the weapon you want.
Yeah, I'm just ripping it. Now we've got damage.
Yeah, those drones as well, when you click on them in the equipment, you can change their formation. So like the spore drones by default come alongside your ship, but you can do that with any of the drones, and you can also make them orbit you, or you can just make them roam like the ones you currently have are roaming, so they're just attacking things at range.
Really? So like here, I can do formation. Okay.
Yeah, so you can just make them orbit you and things like that, which is nice with the laser drones. That was shamelessly stolen off Nova Drift and their drones. So.
That's awesome, actually. That's really awesome. Yeah, I'll make them all roaming. I want them to go hunt people down. I did see that there's like a durability on this. Does that happen whenever they die, or?
There's a chance. I think it's just when you take damage. So whenever you take hull damage, there's a chance that some of your items equipped will also take durability loss.
That's fair. That makes sense.
It's basically just another credit sink, and give you a reason to come back to the fleet more often. But yeah, it shouldn't have a major impact on gameplay, I hope, unless I've wrecked some of those equations.
No, it seems to be very, very minor currently.
Yeah, I think you take like 25% durability loss if you die as well, which gives a bit of a cost to death, which is kind of the point.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's very tiny. Really, really tiny, actually. So, this is something kind of interesting to me, is like, you have this big structured environment. I know that your plan for the end game is to have unlimited, right? How are you balancing player freedom between that? Like, how do you balance player freedom in structured environments like this? Because that's usually quite difficult. So I'm interested to what your approach was to balance those two things together.
Do you mean like technically? Like there's fixed encounters within that I've designed within the.
So these
like,
are all
CG
fixed.
generator.
These aren't random.
So the enemies in those encounters are random, where they're placed are random, and the linking is random. But like the boss encounters, they appear in certain areas, and they're guaranteed to get certain links. So the assembler always appears slightly below where you start. The first boss appears a certain distance to the right and roughly in the middle, and things like that. So the fixed encounters, the factions have elites as well. They appear in certain places.
Okay.
That just kind of generates around those fixed encounters. So
okay,
it should
so
be different every time.
And whenever I open this up, this will always be different, but this guy is always going to be somewhere in here, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It should roughly be around there. How far away it is in terms of jumps, you can get kind of screwed over by the seed, or you can like sometimes get really close. I know sometimes the assembler ends up really far away, which can be a pain. But
yeah, mine showed up like here, so it's pretty close. Really not bad, actually.
Yeah, most of the time it's okay, but with like random siege, you never know. You can get some sort of madness in there. So.
Ooh, I'm seeing if my new build works. It seems to be. I need my drones to be faster.
The layout of those sectors changes as well. So the seed generator for Sector 2 kind of generates in a grid pattern, because it's supposed to be like an architect designed sector in the storyline. And then Sector 3 generates in kind of a plant-like pattern where the nodes grow out and then have like these explosion of nodes on the end, because the Sector 3 faction is plant-based. So it's kind of fitting with the theme there. So there's a few different algorithms that it uses.
That's actually really interesting. Are you planning on, like, what is your interest in planning, like, new content? Is it more just, like, adding new sectors, or is it adding more enemy types? Is it new bosses? What is the focus for you?
Sector 4 will have bosses, it will have some new enemy types, it'll have some of the existing factions returning with the final, like, climactic sector. The Entering the Void, which is the kind of rift jumping, that'll have again, new kind of designs and new enemies, and you'll fight some deeper, bigger species 11 enemies. Beyond that, I want to add like just layers on top of this. So like I want a companion NPC at some point. I want set items. I'd really like to have an extra rarity that you can build in the end game that's above legendary. I want to have mod support at some point, and that needs to go in. And I want to have some sort of co-op multiplayer where you can kind of jump in and play with your friends. So it's a long road. There's a lot of stuff I want to add, and I've got no other projects planned. This is just what I'm working on for the foreseeable future.
I mean, it sounds like I'm never going to have a moment to myself ever again, is what you're describing. So that's good. Yeah.
If it helps, if it helps, I'm pretty slow at making all this stuff because I'm just by myself here doing it in my free time. So you have plenty of downtime in between my updates, but I'm getting there. It's like a slow progress, but it's constant.
Yeah, that's totally fair though. I mean, like, is this something that you'd ever think, if this did well enough, is that something you'd ever think that you'd just do that full time? Would you ever be interested in going into it? I
mean, I do. I like my day job. I like the company I work for. It's called Hunted Cow Games, and they basically bankrolled the advertisement for this, and then I repaid them the money for it. So that's kind of a publishing deal I got, was they put up the money up front so I could advertise it on Reddit and things.
That's
and get
fantastic.
Out to an audience. And then I just basically paid them. But the company director at Hunted Cow was the best man at my wedding. I'm still pretty friendly with them, so I can't imagine fully leaving this job. But because wouldn't want to leave them in the lurch or anything, because I'm pretty important to everything working. But at the same time, if it made enough money, yeah, I would like to devote more time to this. But yeah.
I think that's really cool, though. That's an awesome arrangement that you have with them, and that's rare, because usually any time in the gaming industry, if you want to go make your own thing, there's a shitload of hoops you have to jump through. Like, it'll turn into like a whole big thing about rights ownership and side projects, but it sounds like they really supported you.
I've been at this company for like 15 years. Like I say, he was the best man at my wedding and stuff. We didn't really have a contract or anything. He just basically let me use a company card to pay for adverts, and then I gave him that money back, and then I give him a percentage of the money, so it's not like a conflict of interest with my day job. And so we split the money and stuff, and it's all worked out really well. It's all been really amicable. So I know a lot of people, a lot of indie developers don't get great publishing arrangements like that, but it really helps if you're friends with the publisher.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, no, it super does. That's fantastic, actually. That's really, really cool. And that's rare. Like, I know a lot of you guys may not realize how rare of an arrangement that is. That's like a Goldilocks zone kind of arrangement. That's fantastic. Legitimately so.
Yeah, I would have been massively nervous for the launch if it was my own money on the line for the adverts and things, and it's like it had to make that money back. I don't think my wife would have been best pleased either.
100% fair. I just realized I can get rid of the PDL and put put other lasers on. I have like full control over this ship, don't I? I can just do whatever I want with this thing. Wait, can I do more thrusters?
No, that's a future feature. They wanted like the ability to add more more thrusters as like vanity thrusters to make it look cooler. I don't think you can replace a utility slot. You have to keep one utility. You get one utility slot, and then you get your weapon slots on top of that.
I see.
Yeah, watching people play this game still gives me like major anxiety because you just expect it to all explode or them to get confused about something and be disappointed, and you're like, so I hate watching streamers, but I do it.
Well, you're watching one now.
You worked out most of it quite quickly, actually. It helped. It's the first time I've had a stream where people from my Discord were in your chat helping you, like understand things. That's a completely new experience, and that was quite cool to see as well.
I think there's always going to be a little bit of spin up, you know, no matter what. Especially when you're streaming, because when you're streaming, your attention is split between the game and hanging out with your community and doing stuff. But I do think the thing that helped me the most with this is just having a history in space games, like immediately, and then having people go like, "Hey, this feature exists." Like I didn't know you could hit F4, right? F4 to open the map is the thing. Even though the game tells you that, the initial reaction that I would always have as a player is hit M to open my map, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm being deleted. Fantastic. I love that these just attack the ship randomly.
Yeah, that was just to give a sense of you're actually fighting them and stuff. I didn't want you... They're not much of a threat because there's so many friendly ships about, but I wanted you to feel like constantly under attack.
No, that's cool though. I like that.
It also works quite well for testing weapons and stuff. There's like kind of like little target dummies if you need to test your DPS and things.
Yeah, you don't know if what you're even putting together is any good. Immune to radioactive is what I think I should actually be using, because I just realized that the enemies that I'm fighting shoot a lot of radiation, and they're really scary about that, and it's causing huge problems. There we go.
Yeah, the shield resistant plays a big part. If you have a radiation shield, you don't get the radioactive debuff when it hits your shield, so that can be massive because radioactive ticks for damage and things. So
yeah, I noticed that. That was actually one of the things where I immediately got hit by the green, and I was like, oh. And it looks like you've color coordinated the abilities with the elements that they're going with. So like purple is fire, as far as I can tell so far.
Purple is corrosive, orange is thermal, green's radiation. So yeah, there's yellow, which is electric, which is a stable zone, and there's like a frozen one, blue, which comes up later.
Okay.
So yeah, I've tried to keep it color coordinated. I mean, the slots also needed colors, so they don't overlap very well, but you kind of picked up how the slots work pretty quickly, which was rare. A lot of people get confused by the slot mechanics, so I've tried my best to explain them. But
honestly, I think they just sort of make sense. Like, I don't know. There's a little bit of the overall feel of the game to me is, for whatever reason, it just reminds me of Homeworld. But I know the gameplay isn't the same or even close in any way. The combat reminds me of a 2D version of EVE Online, because you have to care about angular velocity so much, because I that's why I care about the movement speed. That's why I put the fuel injector on. It's got a ton of modifiers on it, too. You get bonus XP, which is sick. But, like, all of this feels right, so it's very clear that you've spent a lot of time tuning the feel of everything to just make sense.
Yeah, I hope so. It's been a long effort, I guess. There's been a lot of feedback. When the demo came out, it was nothing like this. There's been so much feedback and so much like changes based on that. I get sucked into like fixing things and stuff, and that's why the content takes so long.
That's fair. Talk about the early game of this, like when it first started. What did this start off as? What was your vision then?
It was just more of an exploration, kind of like a universe simulator with factions and reputations and trading, and I kind of liked like that Elite Dangerous kind of just open world universe. But I moved away from that after a while. But I think I'm happy with the choice. I think it turned out much better this way. Basically, I was making, I don't know if you played Star Sector. I was making like a game like Star Sector, and then I discovered Star Sector as a game, and was just like, this game does this so much better than I can ever do it. So I'm going to pivot away a bit from this direction, because like, I really like Star Sector, having played it. And it's, you see something that's like been, I don't know how long Star Sector's been in development for, probably decades. You see something massive like that, and it's amazing, and you're just like, wow, there's no way I'm competing with that directly, so let's pivot away slightly, so it's got a slightly different niche.
No, that makes sense. I really love this, by the way, being able to like use the environment. That's something really interesting as well.
Yeah, that was thrown in, I think, 2 weeks before I launched into early access.
No way.
The levels felt quite repetitive. I basically took a week or 2 weeks off my day job and just worked on it non-stop and got a load of extra features in just before, because I was nervous that people would find it quite repetitive and things, and this gives you things to hide around, hide behind and hide in and stuff and use.
No, it definitely feels really good. Like being able to like dodge the laser by going that way. It also means that I have to care more about like maneuverability to get around this stuff. Like, that feels great.
It didn't feel great trying to get A-star pathfinding working for the enemies like a week into launch because they were all the enemies were just kind of flying into the obstructions and getting stuck.
Honestly, I didn't even think about that till just now when you brought that up. Yeah, that must have been hell. Getting him to stop actually just getting stuck.
It generates a navigation grid and it does A-star pathfinding to try and make them circle around and find the route through, especially with the bones and things, which are like a maze. So that was an absolute... say things are hard. Yeah, that was one of the absolute nightmares I had to code, but I think it works now. I don't know how the performance is, but it definitely works.
The performance is fantastic so far. Like, I'm not using really any resources, even while broadcasting out to Twitch and YouTube at the same time. OBS takes a ton of resources. Like, it's very performant. It feels really good. The gameplay is great. Like, this is awesome, dude.
A lot of that came, the company director, my publisher, basically gave me a Steam Deck and was just like, make it work on this. So a lot of that came from trying to get it to work nicely on a Steam Deck. I had to optimize quite a lot, fix a lot of memory leaks. So I think it's quite optimized. It's not as good as it could be, but it can always be more optimized. But it works quite well on the Steam Deck now, which is quite low on hardware. So
you do realize I'm never going to get to sleep again now because I'll just be playing this when I'm supposed to be sleeping on my Steam Deck. Great.
Yeah, a lot of the balance. A lot of my balance testing was me on my Steam Deck in my bed, so I'm pretty confident that it runs on the Steam Deck. So,
yep, that's fair. That's 100% fair. No, that's rad. Is the demo the same as the bot version? Is what chat is asking.
Yes, the demo is fully up to date. I update it every time I do a build, and if you buy the full game, you can just open your demo save and carry on. There's no blockers there or anything.
That's cool. I like that.
I normally update them both on the same night, so if like the demo gets an update slightly after the full game, but it's a matter of hours normally. And your save should never be reset. I always do backwards compiles on the players and stuff, so the save should always pass through. So even if you open the game 2 years' time, your save should still work. Even if it's from the demo, it should still work in the full game and stuff, if that all works how it's supposed to. The demo is also really long. The demo is the entire of Sector 1, which is basically 6 to 8 hours, maybe 10 hours if you try and 100% it. So you can get a lot of play out of the demo. Because I didn't want people buying the game and being disappointed or anything if it wasn't their sort of game. So it's like, just play the demo, see if you like it. If you don't like it, don't buy it, that's fine. But if it's your kind of game, then
you can find out over time. That's cool. I love that. Yeah, that's one of the things I always tell people is make a demo. Like, 100% make a demo. It's the easiest way. It's funny because a lot of people don't realize this. If you make a demo, it increases the rate of positive reviews that you have because it weeds out players that don't like your game. Because there will be.
Yeah, there's people. Some of the negative reviews I got early on are basically they're negative reviews, but they're about features that are features of the genre, not features of my game. So it's just like, oh, if you don't like these features of the genre, like the looter shooter kind of grabbing loot and sorting through, if you don't like that, then this game isn't for you. That's the genre it's in. So I don't want people buying the game I don't want people buying the game thinking it's a space sim, and then discover it's an action RPG and they don't like action RPGs and stuff. So yeah, I've just put everything to the demo. So I just tell people to get the demo, and it's important to save transfers and stuff.
I've managed to find a schematic that also has modifiers. The schematic system, how does this work?
So you can't access replace modifier until a higher level. I'm not sure where I locked it at the moment, but if you mouse over the replace modifier button, it'll tell you. I can't remember where it was locked at. But
level 12.
Basically, so basically the modifiers on regular items, you can pick one modifier off an item you find and move it onto one of your other items, but that destroys the item that you found. So that's like, you pick the modifier you like most and you can take that modifier onto an existing item. And that has a cost to it in price. And obviously the item you pull the modifier from gets destroyed. The schematics can store multiple modifiers and they don't get destroyed. So you can pull modifiers off items and put them onto schematics to save storage space and to kind of sort them a bit. And then you can transfer them freely from the schematic onto other items later. So you can put all your damage bonus modifiers onto one schematic. And if you click appearance on the schematic, you can give it a certain color. There's a few schematic designs, and you can give it a name for the schematic, so you can say this is my damage schematic and things like that. So
that's actually awesome. Does it destroy the schematic when you do this?
No, the schematics last forever. And once they're on the schematic, they're free to transfer off.
So I've basically found a schematic just now with a bunch of modifiers on it. So this already comes with this, and they're quite good too. Like, can I remove modifiers off of this at will? Can I replace them? That's awesome.
Yeah, so you can move them off, you can put them on. It was just a way of stopping people having to have 2,000 items in their storage. You can you can sort them kind of on schematics a bit, give them a bit of organization.
That makes sense completely. if I find like a very well-rolled stat, does it retain the roll for that stat when it gets onto the schematic?
Yeah, but if it's 20% damage, it goes onto the schematic with 20% damage and so on.
Fair.
It keeps that.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, legitimately,
So
I dig this a lot, man. Like, you're doing something that's really, really cool to me here.
The intent there was to keep that kind of like enjoyment of finding cool items, but move that more to finding cool modifiers. So it's not just completely RNG. You're not just hoping to find a certain item that's good when you find it. You can slowly design and level up and increase the rarity of the items that you find, and that was the idea there.
That makes sense. This makes me think of if FTL and Eve had a baby, was raised in good home with lots of love. Yeah, exactly, dude. Like, it feels great.
I did love FTL, but I mean that was a game that really did, like, if you got bad RNG on a run, you had no hope. Like It was absolutely brutal on the RNG scale, but it was really fun. I love that.
So here's an interesting one. What do you think is the weakest aspect of this game right now?
I think probably that it has a repetitive nature because you're doing encounters. You're currently mostly encountering skirmishes and some war zones and some rescue missions that come later on. There's some intercepts where you intercept some credit carrying ships and you kill them. There's a few variety, and the elites work differently and the bosses work differently. So I've tried my best to add variety, but as like a solo developer, it's really hard to just have this like infinite pool of content.
Yep.
And there kind of has to be some repetition there. So I kind of balance that with like Diablo 2 was my favorite action RPG, and that was quite repetitive. Like the enemies in Act 2 of Diablo 2 didn't feel massively different to the enemies in Act 1. So I keep telling myself that that's fine, that the genre is supposed to be like just grinding enemies. But yeah, I would love to get more variation in there. I'd love to get more enemies. It's difficult to make spaceships feel different as well.
Yeah.
Like they get different weapons as they go on, but they don't always feel massively different. You're basically just dodging things and shooting them regardless of what they're shooting at you. So yeah, any sort of variation there would be good. That would be a longer term goal because it's difficult to achieve.
That's fair. No, that makes complete sense. And what do you think the game does the strongest? The thing that you think you are doing that is more interesting than most of the games in the genre?
I think that's just the ship designer, to be honest. I've watched streamers start playing the game, and then just for the first hour of their stream, they're just moving little bits around in the ship designer as they get pulled into that. So that's turned out really well. The community ships are also really fun. There's numerous like Star Trek ships in there. There's a Star Sector ship. There
was a whole dragon I saw earlier.
Yeah. I think you had it sorted to most recent, so that's just the most recent ones. But if you sort it by most popular, because you can upvote them, there's some really cool ones at the top there. They're well,
we're gonna check that out.
That people come up with.
Yeah, I love the schematic system and I love the shipbuilder. Like those are, for me, that's pretty game changing because I play a lot of roguelikes. I play a lot of like kind of games that have infinite content with looter shooters, stuff like this, right? The schematic system is very interesting to me, and I can't wait to kind of dive into that and play around with it. And then also, this is crazy. This is so in depth.
Yeah, it's wild trying to balance the schematics and the modifiers and stuff because some of the synergies these players set up and some of the builds are just so devastating that it's so hard to balance them.
These are rad. The Enterprise. Oh, this is cool. Oh, what is that? It's a biblically accurate ship.
I'm sure there's a couple of ships from EVE Online in there as well. People have played.
I wouldn't be surprised. This is cool as hell, though. This actually looks like it's got like a seraphim going on.
Yeah, some of my Discord moderators moderate these as they come in, so we don't have any like not safe for work ones. But yeah, there's a Christmas tree and everything. It's nuts.
Yeah, that's wild.
This
is cool.
Those transparent parts are basically parts you unlock later. So when you get to Sector 2, you unlock the enemy parts that you're facing now that the Skerran use, and when you get to Sector 3, you unlock the Sector 2 enemy parts, and so on. So
that's really interesting. Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder what it means when it's all blank like this, but I guess those are all just parts I don't have.
Yeah, the parts also have skins, so the darker parts come from a certain faction, and when you defeat their faction elite and you get an achievement, you unlock the skins for those parts. So they're like conclave parts, but they have different colors and things.
I love that. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, honestly, like, this is more impressive than I thought it was going to be. I already thought that the combat looked really cool, but this is so much more in depth and so much more interesting. This is something that I want to play like quite a lot, actually.
That's cool. It's so random, like a couple of random Reddit comments like spurred me into making the ship designer. It became like such a massive part of the game. It's like without those random Reddit comments about my trailer, I never would have made it.
That's actually wild. I mean, that's how it goes, though. Like, player feedback driving new mechanics is such a big deal. You know, it happens quite a lot, and it looks like it's really paid off here, you know.
I quite often joke that none of the good ideas were mine. It was just like other people's ideas that they suggested.
Just the community doing it, yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, so the game definitely has some balance issues at the moment as well. It made me especially nervous when you pick challenging as a difficulty, because that makes enemies quite tanky. But I'm working on that, but it's really hard to balance because some people will make really bad builds, just use generic weapons, and they don't really take the time to schematic all the modifiers and stuff, and they end up with quite weak builds, and they struggle and they find the game quite hard. Then other people make these absolutely devastating builds.
They just roll the game.
Yeah, I had a player bug report recently send me a player save, and he's basically one of the later weapons is called a Vortex array, which is like spinning lasers. So there's like 12 lasers that shoot out and spin around your ship, and he's got like 10 of these things stacked on his ship, and it's basically like just a delete everything button. It deletes everything around him, and it's like, how am I supposed to balance this against the guy who doesn't like find that weapon or doesn't like get these synergies? And that can be a pain.
There's no way to balance that at that point. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's funny.
Originally, you were limited to like 4 primary slots, 4 secondary, 4 special, 4 auto special, and after a lot of like UI reworks and stuff, a couple of updates ago, I removed that limit, which has just brought absolute chaos, because now that roach drone bay that has like 10 drones, you can have 15 of those, which is an insane amount of drones.
I have 12 right now, so I'm getting there.
Yeah, so if you stack 15 of those on your ship, you can imagine the nightmare that would create. It's like,
oh, wait, no, I actually have more than that. I have 8 on this one, and I have 6 on this one right now. So I've got so many drones, so 15 of those equipped at the same time.
I think you get 12 maybe if you get, depending on your upgrades, but yeah, it's nuts trying to... I mean, by the end of Sector 3, you should be about level 35, which might give you like 6 or 7 of them, which is,
more.
Quite crazy.
Yeah, I need a cloud of drones. That's what I need. Yeah, just a massive cloud of drones. I already have a big cloud of drones. It's working. We're going in the right direction.
I think the only thing I wanted from EVE Online in this game was the ability for the smaller ships to still be useful. So, like, if you want to make a build that is a small ship, it can still function and still be played to the end game. So that's something I was aiming for. You don't have to make a bigger and bigger ship. You can just keep the small ship, was the plan. So I like that the small ships in EVE were still useful in, like, fleet combat.
Yeah, no, they super are. They really are. Like, destroyers are insane. Being able to use, like, interdiction is enormous. Like, anything that you can do to, like, stop them from getting away. Like, that was always a really cool thing. That's a thing of balance that I really enjoy from EVE, is that you don't have to pilot a Titan. In fact, that's not always appropriate, right? Like, you can just pilot, you could be a frigate pilot and be very good at it, or be an E-War pilot and be very good at it, you know? Or I was a logistics pilot myself, so I was a healer. Yeah,
so there's like the Guardian class here in Star Vortex can go up to Dreadnought, which is a huge ship and has a lot of hull, but it can't dodge, and it's quite slow to turn. And then there's a Vanguard class you can go in, which gives you more speed and dodge and maneuverability. That was supposed to be like hey, I want to be a smaller class. But it only gives you those speed bonuses if you use a smaller ship. So like the smaller ship gets more of a speed bonus.
Well, let's actually talk about classes in this, because I chose the drone kind of like specific one. But what are the archetypes that you have here, and how do those function? How are they different from each other?
So there's 4 primary classes on the left side. So those are the bigger classes that unlock a new slot at the end. And those are basically projectile weapons, machine guns, things like that, lasers, pulse weapons, which you briefly saw, which is the AoE weapons that just pulse out like a Frost Nova in Diablo 2, and the Carrier 1 that you play now, which is drones, turrets, and things like that. So those are the 4 primary ones. I kind of expect players to pick one of them, because you're going to want some sort of weapon damage one. And then the secondary classes on the side, you can pick from any classes, by the way. You can pick from all the classes, you can mix them together, you can take them in any order. There's the level restriction. Once you meet the level requirement for an upgrade, you can move them about however you want. The secondary classes are just supposed to accommodate certain playstyles, so there's one that gives you more hull, for hull regeneration. It gives you more hull in general, it makes you tougher, gives you more armor. There's one that gives you more shield, makes your shield more effective, makes your shield regen faster, and makes hull, shield damage heal your hull and things. There's Vanguard, which is supposed to be the fast movement, dodgy. My defensive strategy is not to be hit by anything, because some of my players like that. They play on ridiculous high damage percentage and then just dodge everything like a bullet.
They just want to be like a glass cannon. That's cool.
Yeah. Watching some of the guys play on the highest difficulty and their dodging stuff is just nuts. And then, yeah, there's like a Tesla one, because I've got electric weapons that are like Tesla weapons that like do chain lightning and stuff. So there's a Tesla build in there. And then,
That seems really fun to me. No, I like that. The Tesla stuff that's very compelling.
yeah, the debuff it gives is really powerful as well, because it disables the enemy ship for a second or two. So it's kind of like a crowd control when it hits. And yeah, I've got a Rocketeer class to add and things, so there's more to come there. So the next update, I think I'm going to add the Rocketeer class, which are people who like homing missiles. There's a few of those in the game and things like that. So
That seems really cool. I mean, that's awesome though. Like that, I love the build diversity. I love that there's like kind of archetype sort of class diversity with that as well. I did notice when I ran into a guy earlier, did that do damage to me as I got close to him? Like I ran into him?
no, there's no collision damage.
Okay, so it's just me getting hit by
okay.
something close up. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, the upgrade tree is new. That's the latest update. I used to have like a World of Warcraft style 3 trees talent tree for upgrades, which was quite restrictive, and you had to unlock certain weapons. So you wouldn't have been able to use a drone straight away because you had to unlock them and stuff, and that just all got ripped out. Recently, just give players all the freedom, let them make whatever builds they want. Again, that's a nightmare for balance though, because some people will make really bad builds, and they all struggle at the game. So
Yeah, fair. Yeah, no, I love this. The Tempest. So I could be a carrier, but also a Tempest if I wanted to do that. Does this unlock immediately? I wasn't actually checking, or do I have to get to a certain level to get to this?
you can take the Tempest now, but you need to find a Tesla weapon for it to have any effect.
That's fair.
So there's some yellow Scarron that fly about who have like EMP weapons and electric weapons that drop Teslas, and they drop the EMP. So if you find one of those, or you can get every like loot roll, there's like a 20% chance of rolling from the global loot table. So you can get those weapons early if you're lucky and you farm enough. So
Unlocks an additional weapon slot for your ship. So if I can get all the way to the end of this, I can get another set of drones on this.
yeah, but you also get one in 3 levels, and you get one every so many levels as you level up. So you get additional slots as you go.
That's fantastic. Oh my god, look at the wall of lasers that I have now. The wall of little bullets. The bones. Yeah, look at this. I have so many drones. Oh. But if I run into an enemy that's immune to radiation, I'm basically screwed, because I have one element right now.
Yeah, but we don't have any immune to element enemies.
Just resistant?
That was a Diablo 1 mechanic, which I hated. As a
Fair.
sorceress in Diablo 1, where like some enemies would just be immune to your damage type.
Yeah, and you just die. Like that was basically like the option was like, and you're dead. You know, I can refit in the field. That's interesting. I like that. What is this? Instantly remove heat from your ship. Okay, so an on use ability that heat sinks all the heat off my ship. That's cool. Dig that.
Yeah, there's consumables for that. That's basically the primary weapons generate heat, and they all stack and they fire at once. The secondary weapons have cooldowns, and they're like missile launchers and things, but they don't have ammo. They just have a cooldown. The special weapons are the same as the secondary weapons, but they don't have a direction. So that's like your AoE pulses, your deploying turrets, your summoning friendly ships, and you activate them. And the auto specials just fire themselves and do their own thing. So that each category is kind of like its own behavior for a weapon.
Is there any type of weapon, like you said that you were going to be adding more stuff for like missiles, but it's more like build options rather than like new items? Is there any type of weapon item that's not in the game that you want to add to the game and just haven't gotten around to it?
Probably loads. I've got like a future ideas task list of things. I recently, what was the most recent? I did the black hole gun. That's pretty fun. You fire a black hole and it sucks enemies into it and damages them. But you can also like jump through your own black holes to move around the map more quickly. The weapon ideas are just endless. They just pull from any other game of any other kind of shooter game and steal their ideas. But yeah, what's the latest? One guy's in my Discord right now demanding the giant swords from Nova Drift, the 2-sword weapon that you get in Nova Drift, which is insane.
So a big ship with just swords on it.
Yeah, that was Nova Drift's thing. They had like it basically just gave their spaceship 2 swords.
That's freaking rad, actually. I'd love to do something like that. You just like immediately dive through the enemy team. I think like you were talking about the Vanguard gameplay earlier with quick dodging. I think that'd be kind of amazing. That would work in with that. Are there melee weapons in the game right now, or is that not really a thing?
No, not at the moment. Like the scatter gun you had earlier was like probably the shortest range weapon we have at the moment.
That's really interesting.
That's because it was quite. And now I've got like proper tanky classes. There's more option for that. So hopefully, when you get all the tank classes maxed out, you can actually survive being close to enemies longer.
Yeah, that was the thing I noticed about it very, very quickly. Is like this does not fit my playstyle, like whatsoever.
Yeah,
But I could feel like that's probably useful, just not useful for me, right?
Yeah. Some people use all different builds. I say people find. Hopefully, all the builds will be playable for someone who likes that particular style. Once I balance everything, but say balance is just an ongoing nightmare.
Balance will never stop. Yeah, and the players are always going to find stuff that's broken. That you'll have to then rebalance and everything like that.
Yeah, to be honest, that's kind of like the intent, because it's a single-player action RPG, is that breaking the game is kind of the fun of action RPGs when you get like some ridiculous godlike build. So I almost want to facilitate that a bit, but not to the extreme that the game's like kind of redundant and boring.
When do you think something is too overpowered and you want to fix that, versus this is overpowered in a fun way? Where's the distinction for you?
I think it's just if it's destroying everything with no challenge and no requirement to dodge, it can be fun for a little while, but then it's going to get quite old. But then I don't think I would want to fix. If I could help it, I wouldn't want to nerf the weapons to fix that, because I hate when action RPGs nerf things. I'd much rather just make stronger enemies.
Are you worried that creates kind of a meta where you have to use these overpowered options? And if so, how do you avoid that?
Yeah, that's my approach there, is just to bring the other weapons up to the same level. So if one weapon is particularly overpowered and one weapon is terrible, I'll try and bring the terrible weapon up to the level of the overpowered one, and then I'll add some harder enemies so they've still got a challenge. That's basically the approach I'm trying to take. I occasionally do have to nerf things because sometimes equations are a bit wrong and stuff's a bit silly, but I try to avoid the nerfing where possible, because I know that never feels good if you like load up an old save and it's weaker than it was before.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense. Really, I'm really happy to hear that approach, honestly, because that's always one of the things is like, it's very rare you'd have to nerf something. Like, it'd have to be something completely broken, but it does happen, And
yeah.
I do not like going and playing an old character and finding that it's completely underpowered now. Oh, I've made the mistake of fighting these guys using the wrong shield, even though you told me what element they had earlier. I'm probably going to get cooked. We're going to find out. They have completely different mechanics, too. They fly differently. They shoot, like, fireballs, it looks like. This is cool. And the background is differently colored, too.
Yeah, the background colors change. There's a few different designs as you go along. Those red asteroids will damage you and give you thermal debuffs if you bump into them, but your PDL will shoot them. Just trying to mix it up a bit. They behave kind of similar, but they've all got like heat weapons, and those are grappling guns. Watch out for those.
I actually really like that the PDL is so useful as well, because at first I was like, I don't know how useful this is, but getting rid of environmental hazards like this is quite cool, and I'm a very big fan of environmental hazards in general. Are these quite common throughout the game, or is this sort of...
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot of environmental hazards, not just these.
There's a few where the boss fights actually have these asteroids as well, which can be a nightmare if you don't have the right shield.
Oh... I like that. I like that I actually have to really think about my build going in, not just make the big build and then go from there. This is an elite. I think it's my first elite that I've seen. And this is a trap. I wonder what that does. I'm going to change my shield at. I feel like that's probably a really good idea. We're going back to down first. You see the mathematics in this game? Yeah, no, there's quite a lot of different scale factors and different ways to build stuff. And it looks like the one thing that I'm interested in is I know what an item does right now if I've already seen it. But I don't, it will feel completely different than a different item because of the fact that it has different statistics rolled on it. So you have to not just look at the item and be like, okay, that's the kind of item I want to have. Like, here's 2 drone bays, right? And these drone bays, between them, have completely different statistics. One has higher DPS than the other one, but this one has crit damage on it. So this one crits harder. So if I had a crit-based build, this one has more crit chance. So, like... changing between these 2 different things, even though they're the same level, they're very, very different in terms of build structure. And I think that's quite fun and interesting.
Yes, some of the modifiers, I don't think you've run into them yet, have stars on them, and they're unique kind of special modifiers. And some of those are like on crit. So like on crit, they will spread debuffs to other enemies. On crit, they will fire out small AoEs from the target you destroy. So you can build crit builds that trigger the on crit effects of weapons to that kind of synergy exists. So that's when the builds get crazy overpowered, though.
No, that's awesome, though. I had no idea, yeah. No, that's really, really cool.
Also, the corrosive debuff type, the debuff for corrosive increases the crit chance on enemies, so it doubles the chance of critting enemies. So if you make corrosive-based builds, you can crit them more. And with those crit builds, you can trigger on-crit effects, such as corrosive AoE, which spreads more corrosion, and that kind of synergy gets crazy.
So it gets insane. Nice.
Yeah,
it's going to say, like, that's going to go all out at that point.
And then I love
this one actually is... I got a radiation resistor that actually gives cold resistance.
Yeah, so the yellow modifiers are global modifiers. They're just like ship upgrades, and you get a certain amount of them on different items. And those are like things like increase your resistance, your armor, your health, your shield, and things like that. So
That's
you'll
fantastic.
get weapons that give cold resistance and things as well. But yeah, people
There
build
we go.
resistance sets specifically for certain bosses and things. And yeah, just being immune to burning is huge when you're fighting junkers.
Yeah, I've got that on me now, thankfully, because that was getting it's getting a little bit spooky, just a tad.
I hope I've balanced that now, but the other faction in Sector 1's called the Outcasts, and they're the purple cultists, and they have their own PDL weapons, so your drones will get shot by their PDLs, which will be a bit of a problem, but hopefully you'll have enough drones by then that you can still kill them.
I do have a lot of drones, so I'm hoping that doesn't take me out, but we'll see.
It depends how well I've balanced it.
Do you have any ideas for doing like integrations, like Twitch integration kind of a thing? Because I could see an idea of that, of chat summons a bunch of garbage to kill me. You know?
Yeah, but I've added so many settings and integrations and stuff already. That wouldn't be a problem. If there's any demand for it, I can always do that kind of thing. So I can't see that being an issue. It can be quite funny.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. Yeah, I'm mostly interested in like how modifiable is it on your end, but if you're not even worried about it, then it must be quite easy to add new things like that. Just takes time.
Yeah.
It's all just time.
Yeah, I've been programming since I was like 12 years old. I'm 39 now, so it's a long time programming through a lot of languages. So I think the programming is my day job, and the programming behind it's pretty solid. So adding things isn't. I program in a way that makes my future life as easy as possible generally. So
It's a way to do it.
programming, yeah. So the programming should be pretty solid on the back end, I hope. And so adding things isn't a massive deal like that, especially like technical things like that isn't normally a massive deal.
Oh,
So it's things like art and shaders and stuff that I struggle with more than anything.
really? So it's art and shaders. Would you say like music as well? Do you have like problems with music, or is it really just? Oh, I had
No.
to intercept all of those. I failed the mission.
Yeah, no, I've got a guy who does music. I bought some music packs for the more generic music, and the main theme and stuff was made by a composer who lives locally near me. So he's amazing at the music. That's all covered. Drawing the avatars was above my art skill. I can't draw actual people and things, so I got one of the artists in my studio, and I outsourced the art for the avatars to her, and she did all those. But yeah, the vector art and stuff, I'm okay with that. I think it's just making the pretty effects and the pretty weapon effects I struggle at.
No, that's fair though. I mean that makes complete sense. It's not easy to do, to be real with you. Like I don't do music, and I do art, but like there are people that are better than me, dramatically so.
Yeah,
art.
pretty
Like,
much, yeah.
And at that point, it's like I'm just gonna hire them. You know, it's like
Yeah.
please, I will throw money at you to do the thing. I don't know if I can
as a
actually
web
stop this
designer,
thing.
so I have like basic Photoshop skills, but I'm not an artist. So I've done the best I can. I drew the ship parts myself. I drew them in pen on paper and scanned it in, and then vector arted them, and then put them into the game. But yeah, I'm not amazing at art. So game
That's
is always
honestly a
pretty easy.
fantastic way to do that, though. To be real with you.
Yeah,
It's
it's just
like-
'cause I can't use a tablet and things, so I just drew it on paper and then kind of traced it on Photoshop.
Yeah, I mean, doing that on paper is fantastic, though. It's like that gives you so much opportunity to like try new things with that, and then it's a cool workflow, you know. And then at the same time, you can actually show the community those drawings. That's a really neat thing to do that.
Yeah, I think they've been up in my Discord once or twice, so I'm just sketching away the next faction and things like that. So
Cool, man. Oh, that's really awesome. Oh, that's the other thing. I wanted to change this. So these slots have colors, and that changes
Yes,
the
it-
colors of my drones.
yes, the weapons you equip change to the color of the slot you equip them in, so to match your ship design, basically.
That's fantastic. Yeah, because it changed the actual color on the drone itself. I love that this has changed the coloring naming up here, too. It's like aqua green.
Oh,
mint
that was
green,
my colorblind
green.
support that got added again from feedback.
Really? That's
Yeah, some
fantastic.
people struggled to tell what colors they were, so I just put a name thing in. So.
Yeah. I mean, our artist is actually red-green colorblind, so this kind of a thing is incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
Way, way helpful. Just having it as a visual representation there is cool. Most of the art she does for our games is done by hex code because of that.
Yeah.
Because she understands which hex codes work with what other hex codes.
It's like seeing
With
the
this-
Matrix. You can't actually see the pictures, you see the Matrix.
I have no idea how she does it. It's wild to me.
Yeah, I tried to include, every time someone's requested an accessibility feature, I've tried to add it, just because I love the idea of accessible gaming and people who can't game normal ways. That's why everything can, all the control bindings can be changed. You can literally just enable God mode in the settings if you just want to play the game and not be stressed. You can adjust the game speed down to like 20% if you struggle with reaction times and things like that. There's a load of just accessibility settings to try and make it so anyone can play it, hopefully.
Oh, that's really interesting, actually. I don't think I've ever seen a game implement game speed. You'd even put it up to 200% if you want to be a monster. Nice.
Yeah, yeah, that was a community request as well. I was like, sure, whatever, if you want. The speed run at 200%, but yeah.
No, that's really cool. Cursor color, you can change all that around. Nice.
In Unity, it's incredibly easy to do to like modify the game speed. So I don't know why more people don't allow that kind of thing. But it's like, hey, if a game's too fast for you, just slow it down. I don't mind. It's like play it your way. It's a single player game.
That's honestly the best approach. There's so many times where I see developers that are like, no, we have to fix all of the balance things. It's got to be super rigid. It's got to be super tough. And it's like, dude, it's a single player game. Let them mess around. You know, like just let them have fun with it. And that makes sense completely.
Yeah, as one of the people on your chat said about the background movement being distracting and stuff, there's accessibility settings there to add a movement grid, which makes it less nauseating. And there's also the opposite. You can increase the movement of the planets in the background in accessibility. Some people prefer that. Some people found that gave them more motion sickness. So it's like, just find the one that works for you.
Yeah, I changed the background to much darker, and we've got the movement grid on there as well.
Yeah. So you can do that as well if you prefer. Like, again, it's I have no personal preference on these things. I just want it to be as good for the people playing it as possible. So I went pretty much anytime I was in doubt about anything, I just added a setting for it. So
yeah, it's really interesting actually. Like I usually get quite motion sick in a lot of games. That's one of the things that I have to struggle with all the time. And no motion sickness in this whatsoever so far.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like increasing the background movement of the planets helps some people's motion sickness, but it made other people's worse. So there must be different things happening there. But yeah, I've tried my best to accommodate everything. So
yeah, I think the funniest one that I've had with that was I was playing Goat Simulator, and about 30 minutes into me playing it, I was like, why do I feel cold? It's like, that's weird. It's not cold in here. And I started sweating, and I was like, oh no. And it's because the goat's so close to the front of your screen and the background's moving super rapidly. There's nothing I can do about it. Yeah. 200% game speed. Let's try it.
Oh, God.
Oh, no, that feels slick. I'm probably going to die instantly, but it feels good. You know?
You went with twin stick shooter as well, and that was like a massive debate when I first launched a demo. A lot of people wanted twin stick, a lot of people hated twin stick, and so I basically just pop it up in the tutorial. It's like, pick which one you like, I don't care.
Yeah, fair. I love twin stick, personally. You
can also just customize the controls and probably get any variation between those two that you want. You can have part twin stick, part not. You can. There's if you're not using twin stick, you can activate turret mode, which allows you to aim independently of your direction and things. And also, I think that was a Star Valor feature. But yeah, pretty much everything people requested, the controls I just did. So hopefully you find a control scheme that you like, however you like to play. So.
I'll be honest with you, kind of like 200% speed. My drones.
Thing, they're like some people are struggling on 100% speed on normal difficulty, and it's like, how do I balance with both of these people? You
can't. There's no way to. And that's normal, and that's fine. I think that's one of the biggest things is you can't balance around it, so give the player the option that's a great way to do it, legitimately so.
Yeah, sometimes I worry that I've got too many settings, but it's like, at least I can point people to a setting if they don't like something rather than tell them that's just how it is.
I guess the biggest thing for me so far is it doesn't feel like too many settings because I don't feel overwhelmed. And they're being introduced at the rate that I have to care about. You know, like I don't really have to care about this feature until it gets introduced, and it hasn't really been introduced quite yet. You know, it just feels good. It feels right. So I think you're doing a very, very good job. I think what you're making here is really cool, and it's unique feeling too. Even though it's got aspects of it that feel like many other games that I've played, it doesn't feel like those games. It feels like something that's evolved on that in a way that is correct.
There's very few competitors on Steam for the same genre. I mean, like Reality Break is an action RPG like me, and I'm bundled with them. But they're a roguelike, and so their gameplay is very different because of the roguelike nature of it. And I've not come across any other like space shooters that go for this like action RPG approach. So yeah, it's been interesting. I wasn't expecting to find such a niche, but it's worked out quite well in the end.
Yeah, no, it's really cool feeling, honestly. And oh god, I'm gonna die. Wait. Survive! I have the wrong shield type on. We're living. Oh, these guys have bombs for bodies. Very cool. Survive. I haven't died yet, so I don't really plan on starting now.
Yeah, some people mention Cosmetia as one of the other games. But it's like, to be compared to Cosmetia is insane because Cosmetia is like currently the giant of the genre and probably the top game in the space shooter genre. So it's like any comparison to that, I'm happy with because Cosmetia is fantastic. And
that's the thing is like it feels like these things that I already enjoy, So it's nice, you know? Like, it definitely doesn't feel wrong. I don't think there's anything in there that feels wrong to me. And the fact that you have all these accessibility options really helps a ton. Because one of the things I was having at the beginning of the game was I was noticing that my shots were kind of blending into the green planets in the background when the planets are green. And now the idea that I can change the background to be darker is fantastic. That helps out with that a lot.
That's almost my own indecisiveness, because there is a background darkness layer there, and I set it, and then I set it darker, and then I wasn't happy because all the levels kind of look the same, so I set it lighter, and then it was a bit distracting. I couldn't decide what the default setting should be, so I'll just make it a slider and let people pick themselves.
Yeah, completely fair.
Sometimes it's really hard to make such, like, they're not logical decisions, they're just kind of feeling decisions. It's really hard to make them as a game designer. So it's better just to put that into the player's hands and be like, pick the one you like best. I don't know.
Yeah, good. Honestly, like, that's... I think you're doing all of this right, man. And I think you're making something really cool here. Well...
It's had a lot of good feedback. It's been a surprise.
So with all of that in mind, we're starting to come up to the final hour, right? Is there anything you want to tell anyone in the community? We've got a lot of developers here. So any advice you have for them, anything that you want to impart wisdom from your entire journey so far?
I mean, the advice I always give to other developers, I think it's my most upvoted post on Reddit, is that Steam won't advertise your game for you. Steam doesn't sell, it will advertise your game if it thinks your game will make money. But a lot of these indie developers, I see them on Indie Dev all the time, and they'll post their indie game, and these are genuinely fun-looking games. They have good trailers, they have good screenshots, but they've not taken the time to, like, get it into streamers, get it out to websites, get it onto adverts, get the wish list in, because, like, you see these stories, and there's a 2D space shooter game that launched. I think it's called Galaxy Highways, and it looks really good. I played it. I bought it because it's very similar to my genre. I played it. It's a genuinely good game, and it's got hardly any players because they didn't take the time to get the necessary wish lists to go up to, like, popular upcoming. And being on popular upcoming is huge for launching a game on Steam. If you're not on popular upcoming, nobody's seen your game when it launches. So that's the advice I try to drum into other, like, indie developers. It's like, just advertise, get it to streamers. Wait, don't launch unless there's some pressing deadline. Do not launch your game until you have enough interest that it's going to hit popular upcoming and players are going to see it, if that makes sense.
It's funny because that's the exact same advice that I gave someone earlier for streaming. Exactly the same. Twitch is not here to make you famous. They're here to show your stream, and they want to make money off of it. Like, it's the same. It's exactly the same. Anytime you're doing anything that you want people to see on the internet, the platform is not there to sell your game. The platform's not there to make you famous. The platform's not there to make you money. The platform's there to make money off you.
Yeah, that's with Steam's popular upcoming as well. Just to put it into context, like, I launched on a Monday and I was on popular upcoming, the top list on the popular upcoming homepage from Friday to Monday, and during that 4 days, I think I was at 14,000 wish lists on the Friday, and by the time we launched, we had 22,000 wish lists, and 2 million people saw that capsule art on the front page. Thousands of people clicked it, and it's like, that's the only time Steam's, like, pushed the game to other people. And it's like, you have to have, if you don't have that at launch, it'll just be forgotten. It won't, unless someone searches for it, they're not going to find it on Steam. And so you really have to put that time in.
The only other option that you actually have is, I think at that point, visibility rounds, which as devs we get five visibility rounds, or a sixth one if you leave early access. That's the other one.
Yeah.
And you get to be on front page of Steam for like a minute because it goes almost instantly. Like, it disappears instantly. Yeah.
I say that as well because it sucks marketing a game. Like, I wanted to make a cool game. I didn't want to be a marketer. I didn't want to make adverts. I didn't want to send end emails to streamers. I had to learn all these skills. I had to go out there and learn how to advertise a game. And it's an entire aspect of game development I wanted no part of, but it's such a necessary part that if you're not going to do that, you may as well, like, not even make the game because no one's going to see it. So.
Yeah. Especially if that's something that you want to do, if you want to go into the business of making games, you don't just want to make one to have fun, right? Like, if you're trying to sell games, you have to market. You have to learn to market that. And Steam will not sell it for you, 100%.
No.
Just like Twitch is not going to show your channel to people. There's no discoverability. You are the discoverability, 100% of the time. Yeah. Super agree, man. Like, 100%. Small question about Indiecember. Are these devs games community members, or are they from all over the indie game space? They're from all over the indie game space. We actually got 400 submissions for games, and we selected, I think, so far 75 of them. Because there were so many people that said, hey, I want to be part of Indiecember, we're going to do another one in June called Indiecember. So one is in December. The other one is in December. See? Yeah. But also, each one of these, we're going to be cutting them up into a video. I'll be putting them up on YouTube as well, so it'll have lasting power. There'll be linked to the games on each one of those to try and get you guys as much traffic as possible, get people to find out about your games. So it's not just going to be on the stream, it's going to be on YouTube and permanent.
Yeah, all those indie developers are reaching out to you and stuff. They're doing the marketing side right, and that's what everyone needs to do if you want to make a popular game and stuff, is reach out to these streamers and things. And
reach out any chance you can. Yeah, any chance
pretty
you
much.
can. Well, thank you very much for being on. I'm going to continue playing this, by the way, even outside of Indiecember, because you're making something that I personally find really goddamn fun. So
Thanks, that's good to hear.
yeah, I dig it, and I can't wait to see
too much of your time.
Oh, no. I'll only play it when I shouldn't be, and I should be sleeping instead. That'll be fine. You know, sleeping hours, that's up for grabs. You know? But no, thank you very much for being on. It was lovely talking to you. I think your game is fantastic, and I can't wait to do it, keep playing it and see what you do with it next, man.
Thank you. It's been fun.
I just found it
Thanks
epic.
for having me on.
All right. I will talk to you later. Thank you very much.
Thank you.